I'd like to call this March 6, 2017 meeting of the Mayor and City Council to order. At this time, Tim, you want to do the Pledge of Allegiance? Or?
Stand, please.
And please remain standing for Officer Rob Holloway, excuse me, for the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. That brings us down to number 4 on our citizens comment section. If you have anything you want to address the council about, please come up to the mic, state your name and address. Any comments to 3 minutes, please. Seeing none, excuse me. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, that will come up in item 2.
Mayor Hosworth, there is a citizen here who I'm speaking on her behalf. Her name is LaWanda Glass. She's on the very back row of that side. If LaWanda could please stand at this time. LaWanda, if I'm at any time wrong, please let me know. And please apologize too. I'm having a sinus infection and an ear infection right now, so I'm doing the best I can, so please bear with me. LaWanda is the mother of a young man who was lost to gun violence last year. Year before last. His name was Timberland. And Wanda and I and a couple of more mothers who have lost their children to gun violence from the area and some outside of the area are putting together a Stop the Violence Day, which will be held at Legends West Saturday, June 3rd, 2017. Boy, am I behind. From 3 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. at Legends West on 4th Street. I encourage all of you to be there. We are still in our planning stages. We plan to have mothers there, as I said, to speak who have lost. And this is in hopes of preventing things like this from happening again. And also, we look forward to reaching out to the Carrollton Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, and any other organization who may be interested in joining us that day. Please do so. Again, it's the Stop the Violence Day, Saturday, June 3rd, 2017, 3 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. at Legends West Park on 4th Street, which is part of the Carrollton Parks and Recreation Department here in Carrollton. Wanda, is there anything you would like to say? And again, my sincerest and deepest sympathy goes out to you and your family for the loss of your son. Thank you, LaWanda.
Is there anyone else? Seeing no hands, we will move on to item number 5. Minutes, approval of minutes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, please. At our last meeting, I made a request for the for the council announcements to be moved to higher priority on our agenda, closer to the top. But I see that was not taken into consideration in the formation of our agenda this month. So at this time, I would like to ask if we may make that amendment, even though it was announced at the last council meeting.
Mayor Byrd, I think that filed in number 6, and we're just trying to approve the minutes at the moment.
Okay, I was just letting you know that was not included in the minutes from the last time.
Oh, excuse me.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve? Other than the omission that Gerald on the minutes?
And it needs to be for February 16th and February 17th.
For February 16th and 17th meeting, call 6th and 17th on the call meeting we had.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for February 6th and February 17th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for February the 6th, 2017 and February 17th, 2017. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries. Item number 6, approval of agenda items for consideration.
I make a motion that we approve the items for consideration set forth in our agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Everybody in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries. Item number 1, certificate of recognition. I know that's why all y'all are here. Good to see all y'all. 2016. Now, y'all help me. I'm not good with abbreviations. CRPBA 914 Girls Volleyball State Championships, Carrollton Rex Park, I assume. Would y'all come forward, please? Who's going to read? Roy, you on?
I'm going to read the proclamation today. If you guys want to all come up to the front, we'll get a picture. Congratulations to the 2016 Georgia Recreation and Parks Association 9 to 14 girls state volleyball champions. Congratulations. Whereas it gives the mayor and council a tremendous amount of pleasure and pride to express to all the members of the Carrollton Parks and Recreation Department 9 to 14 girls volleyball team, players, coaches, parents, our sincere congratulations on your winning the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association 9 to 14 girls state championship. And whereas you are to be commended for an exciting, hard-fought, and successful season, and we are proud of the record you've earned, as well as the fine publicity you've brought our community. And whereas to achieve excellence in the game of volleyball, a young person must possess an outstanding spirit of dedication, enthusiasm, and willingness to work hard, incorporating into their daily lives the concepts and disciplines which they have been taught. Now, therefore, we are pleased to publicly commend the following members of the Carrollton Parks and Recreation Department 9 to 14 Girls State Championship Volleyball Team. And the team is Robin Blackman, Shelly Camp, Christian Dedman, and forgive me if I mess up your name, I'm sorry. Harley Hildebrand, Maggie Miles, Abigail Mosley, Raimi Soles, Riley Wallace, Haley Zachmeyer, and we've got 3 coaches, Monica Craig, James Black, and Emily Motes. Congratulations.
Once you guys get closer.
And look. They'll stick with us. It'll be fun. It's a short meeting. It's okay. This is huge. Might not like it.
That brings us down to number 2, Ms. Studdard, on the rezoning. Moat Road, North Point Grand Phase 3.
The second item on your agenda is a rezoning request for 74.68 acres located on Moat Road, and it is the North Point Grand Phase 2 development, and the rezoning is from ER3 to R10, which is single-family residential. The Planning Commission met in February, and they made a recommendation to approve this request with the following conditions. The materials and architecture of the residences are similar and consistent to North Point Grand Phase 1. No more than 128 lots will be permitted in Phase 2 to maintain similar scale and density of North Point Grand Phase 1. Phase 2 must either establish a new property owners association or merge with the existing property owners association. I do want to add that I actually sent it to you this afternoon. On Friday afternoon, the developer met with a representative from the neighborhood, and there is some more information regarding the negotiations between the existing property owners association and the development. Do you guys have this in front of you? Will you put that up? And I'm going to briefly go through these things. They basically sat down to go through what might be amenable for both of them. There's also a representative from the neighborhood here to affirm that this is what was discussed. Number 1, the zoning pursued is R10. However, the lot minimum would be 12,000 square feet. Traditionally, R10 allows for a 10,000 square foot lot. The quality of the homes would meet or exceed the quality in Phase 1, which is discussed in the staff condition. And then the homeowners association would actually be basically merged. The new homes would merge with the existing homeowners association, and there's some stipulations as to how that's going to occur. I won't go through each one of them individually. Both the representative from the neighborhood and the developer are agreeable to this particular letter. Should you choose to make a recommendation, I would also ask that you would at least consider these items as well. I'm available for questions if you have them.
Refresh my memory, please. What are the setbacks on this zoning?
I think the front yard is 20 feet, and the side is, I can pull it off the ordinance, but I want to say it's either 10 or 15 feet.
And are the developers here right now? They are here?
What'd you say? Yes, the developer and the developer's designer is here.
Okay. Will they can they take the stand as well? Because I have some questions for them. And thank you, Eric. Okay. Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Could we pull that map back up again? I hope I can.
It was a Phase 2 that got some activity on it, infrastructure built, and then it never got completed. So a majority of the property that we're getting rezoned is previously cleared, 10-year-old pine volunteer. Down along the south end of the property is where the previous developer did not do any clearing, so there's some old growth.
Is that where? In terms of proximity, where is Yellowstone? Is it up Yellowstone? Okay, down. Okay. And how old is this photograph? This from when Phase 1 was new, because I don't see much grass. Or is that the drop last year?
I believe this photo was from
So where's the current entrance from Moat Road, where that waterfall used to be, now it's just like a whole bunch of weeds? Where is that? There's two
She's
of them.
pointing at it now.
There's two of them. That's one. Yeah, there used to be a
Like
waterfall.
where the sign is.
Yeah. The sign itself was a waterfall.
There's one there. This road through here is built out already.
Who's responsible for maintaining the front of this subdivision? Like the signage out front, that used to be so nice.
This signage over here is the HOA. This never got platted, so that's the property owner, the owner of that property.
Okay, so this one, I would say comparably, where is it, down here somewhere?
Yeah, their main entrance.
Okay, it is, I would say comparable to that one in dilapidation, in terms of not being, he wants to say something. Hey,
We corrected that last year and rebuilt the front entrance. We took the water feature out because it was dilapidated and it was attracting bugs. We built up the facade and the pine straw, and we have lighting on the sign and the trees in that area.
I tell you what I don't want, and I tell you something that keeps me from sleeping at night, are subdivisions that I approve that aren't built out. And that's not your fault, it's not anybody's fault, it's just what happened with the economy.
Right.
This is a huge, huge subdivision that you're building here. Are you,
This is the
or that you're
developer, I'm
building,
sorry.
whoever's building
I'm
it,
the
it's a
engineer.
huge subdivision. Have you done the research to determine that this number of homes are indeed, I guess the word would be sellable or marketable at this time, in addition to the homes that we just approved last week, which are being built by my cousin's house in the back, Miss Winona Crowder? We're talking about two huge subdivisions. How many houses are there?
There's 128 lots being proposed in phase
And you're
2.
confident you're going to sell 128 lots, and we're not going to drive through and see another wasteland like what's there right now with all these trees growing. You can come on
He's
up
the
here
one
and
who's
join
going
it.
to build them and sell them, so he can speak on that.
I honestly cannot sleep at night sometimes when I drive through these subdivisions and I see these empty. I wouldn't want to live beside one.
My name is David Chapman with Trademark Quality Homes. Kind of the idea we're going to do here, we're not going to come in here and put all the roads in. We're going to put in probably enough road for probably 40 lots, let everything else set. As those sell, we'll develop as we need them.
So you're not going to come in and just wipe all
Nope.
that out and get
Nope.
rid of the
Nope.
trees and the home. And what about green space too? Are those spaces that we see in the middle of these properties green space? And so the properties will butt up to one another too, right? Like the back of my house will be against somebody else's house.
It'll basically be identical to what you see in North Point Grand right now. Same lot sizes, similar houses, similar footprints, etc.
What's your build out schedule?
The absorption rate for North Point Grand could be as many as 35 houses a year. Could be as little as 15 to 16 to 20 a year.
Are you going to build as you sell, or are you going to build a whole bunch of them ahead of time and then sell them later?
I'd say we'd probably keep 4 to 5 houses in inventory all the time, along with pre-sales, whatever comes along. We'll have a model house and whatnot.
So you're going to build out as you sell. Is that
Correct.
okay? Huh. And right now, that wasteland that used to be so beautiful, the berm, you know, the berm that they created when you go in, the berm has now disappeared. It used to be very well manicured and trimmed down, and the trees, it was quite picturesque going in through Moat Road. Now that's like a wasteland. So is this the wasteland from Moat Road?
No, once we get going, the entrance and the parkway that's already in, all that'll start taking shape, start finishing it up. For an example, on absorption, we built in Bremen and Carrollton last year 64 houses, and all of them, but about 5 or 6 have sold. So
What's the name of that subdivision?
we build in Stonegate Farms, a bigger subdivision in Carrollton, the Bluffs,
In Carrollton or Bremen?
Carroll County.
Carroll County.
The Bluffs of Blandenburg, North Point Grand. In Bremen, we got a subdivision called Lauren Heights.
And that was built last year,
Well, in 16, yeah.
2016. Okay, what's the price range of these houses that you're building now?
In North Point, we're also building in North Point. We started out with 38 lots. We got about 10 left. So we've been building and active in there selling right now in phase 1.
Oh, phase 1 is being
Correct.
built out and being sold right now.
We're doing that now.
Okay, and so what's the price range of the housing?
The average price point's probably, I'd say, $215 to $220.
Okay. And let me ask to our city staff, what are we doing differently? What did we learn from the last time? Oftentimes we meet about subdivisions and we say, gosh, I wish we had just done this, or I wish we had done that. What do we learn from the past that we're going to use today in this new, I guess, quote unquote, housing boom that we're seeing in Carrollton right now? How are we going to, I just asked the question, I want to ask it again. What do we learn, and what are we doing differently from the first time around?
I hope I can answer this. One of the things I think that you saw before the bubble burst is you saw a lot of neighborhoods get developed and, basically growth a lot more than what we were growing as a city, as a basically more inventory than, we would have to grow at 3 times or 4 times the rate than we've historically grown. I think we're a lot more attuned to that. You've already asked the question. I think that's one of the things we've learned is to really kind of basically be patient, as the community grows. This is, like I said, this is one of those that the density, when North Point came in, I don't want to say it's a cleanup thing, but this is one of those that we'd like to see at some point cleaned up. And we've got several of these, and over time, hopefully, all of them will be addressed. It will take time because we just don't grow as fast as say maybe a Paulding County or something like that. And that's okay. I think slow, steady growth is an okay thing, and it keeps us kind of vital, and basically it allows our quality of life to kind of grow at the same rate. I don't think I'm answering your question.
I'm not sure right now, but okay. I would like to say the people who I know who need homes can't necessarily afford homes at this price point. Chuck, I don't know if we need to reword this so that we can put more control, I guess, on the amount of houses that they're building out, per year or per month or whatever. I just want to avoid what happened in the past with the huge, clearing out all this property and all this land, and you go there and there's white pipe sticking up out the ground, and then people are calling me about it like that. I forgot the name of the subdivision behind the subway on 27, which is near the skating rink. Wisteria Lane. And I don't want another Wisteria Lane. I don't want another Bristol Lakes.
Now, I will tell you the thing with
I don't want another North Point Grand. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not like it is now.
Well, I will tell you with Wisteria, that's a good example of what we've learned. Mm-hmm. Some of the things that happened when Wisteria was developed, some things dealt with street dedication. So you've got properties in Wisteria that have no access to public roads because the road itself is owned by a different entity than the lots, if that makes sense. And it's not they're not public streets. All of these would be public streets.
So can the city have more control over that sort of thing so we can avoid those types of problems from occurring in the future? Because the people at Wisteria Lane are miserable.
We absolutely look at it and use it.
And I can tell you, Gerald, she's very kind to say that's something we've learned. She already knew better and would not have let that go on. And frankly, I knew better and wouldn't let it go on. Most of those problem subdivisions were zoned way back before '04. Bristol Lakes, I think, was zoned in '03, and so it was the boom economy. It was what everyone allowed to go on, and it was a mistake. And we fight that. We don't do that. I mean, some of these developers may think we're aggravating, but that's what we're supposed to do. That's why we did the zoning map reissuance, I believe, in May of '14. That kept a lot of things from being built that we didn't want built. And so this is a result of that. This is a result of listening to y'all. The staff's put a lot of work in with this developer to make sure this is a good product. They spent a lot of time with the neighbors. And so, again, it's your decision, but I do want you to know, I just don't think you're going to see that kind of problem again because we are as concerned as you are about it, and it's something we deal with all the time.
Okay. And I think, now if I'm looking at this and studying it, I believe the current phase 2 covers the berm and all those other areas that I talked about being wasteland. Am I correct in saying that to the developer? It's where you go in off Moat Road, right? You go in off Moat. There's an old walking trail right there, which used to be beautiful. Now it's just like taken over with grass, and there's all kinds of trees that are indigenous.
Built the road through phase 2 with the sidewalk and all, but it failed. So he's the one that owned it. Then it went to the bank.
Yeah.
The HOA in phase 1 has no authority to get through there, so they couldn't do anything about it as well. So phase 2 will address that and clean that up and bring it up to snuff with how the rest of the boulevard looks.
Gerald,
And-
do you see that? Do you see the yellow sidewalk coming up on
Yes,
Knollwood there?
that's the existing walking
Exactly.
trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
where those berms are right there.
Yeah.
So
And
it shows, in this drawing, it shows that the setback is behind that for the backs of all those yards.
Okay.
So that should continue. And according to this letter, the landscaping along Knollwood will also be consistent with what's already been built out to try to create a little bit of continuity through.
Okay. That's the letter we were just handed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Rory.
Hey,
What
Gerald,
about the-
Can I jump in a minute? Ask a question, please. You said you were taking down like 20 lots at the time? Or 40 lots, I mean,
Kind of the idea. I'm gonna point here. This could change slightly.
yeah, sure, I understand.
We got a sewer manhole here. We already got this parkway already here. Kind of the idea is the right-hand side of the parkway, go ahead and put this loop here in, which would give us these lots that are here.
So you're going to work that's the east side.
Yes, sir. That's correct. That's kind of the game plan initially. We do got some.
We're going to call Knollwood north and south, and we're going to call, I can't read what,
Yellowstone.
the stuff to the right is where you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Nope.
Right in this zone here, where we'll put this little loop road in.
Uh-huh.
This will all get corrected. The sidewalk is here. It's failed in about 4 or 5 places. All this will be landscaped. This is currently coming out of North Point Grand, already in. This will be kind of the idea of what we'll do to begin with.
And how many lots do you think are on that right-hand side that you're going to, like, is that the 20 or 30 lots?
Yeah, it's probably around 30.
So you're going to work the right-hand side, and the left-hand side could stay like it is for a couple of years, probably?
Yes, sir. Or however long it takes.
I understand.
However long it takes to absorb.
And it's still natural, the way it is now. That's
Yes,
what
sir.
you're saying.
So it'll keep the same look, Gerald, for a good while until demand supplies.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor Hollingsworth. I wanted to ask one more thing too. What's the deal with the HOA right now and the phase 2? And it may, Rory, I have not read the letter that we were just handed. Maybe you just read that. But what's happening between the HOA and you're the HOA representative? Oh, hey, Jessica.
So, when they first talked about building out phase 2, the idea was, do they have a separate HOA with their own amenities, or do they tie into the existing HOA? The concern from the HOA's perspective was that the amenities that we had for existing phase 1 would kind of be at capacity once phase 1 was completely built out. And so with that in mind, we went to the developer, we sat down, we had a conversation about what that would look like moving forward. We came to agreement that after 20 houses were built and sold, they would join in with our existing HOA, and that the HOA would get a check to update the existing amenities to then address the capacity issues. So that way we could have a bigger pool to make sure that we can, meet the demands, that we could update the ball fields, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The ball fields aren't being used right now, right? Are they?
They are.
Oh.
I think they could use a little TLC.
Yeah.
But I think it's beneficial for both phase 2 and phase 1 if we all work together. So that's been the goal of both the developer and the HOA. And I will say, so I live there. I live across from a bunch of the area that has been developed over the past year or so, and what they have done has been great for the neighborhood. It has helped raise property values, especially compared to what happened with the bubble bursting.
It's depressing riding through there, yeah.
Yeah, and more people living there, more people paying into the HOA. We have a good community right now, and I will give him credit. They build it and they sell it, and then they bite off a little bit more. So it's not that they're so far extended that there's stuff sitting for a long period of time.
And that's what I was trying to avoid, what you just said.
Yes, and I
don't overextend yourself.
Yeah, and as I living there and having seen it for myself, I feel comfortable with what they're talking about doing.
Right. We talk about quality growth and smart growth, but I think having a little bit of control over that, and a little bit of, I guess, the governing forces from up here involved in that will help us be smart.
Absolutely.
I've got a question about the lot size. I'm not sure who, John probably. Right now, this drawing, is this the 10,000 square foot or 12,000?
No, this drawing as is minimum 12.
Okay.
This is consistent with what phase one is.
Mm-hmm.
Lot sizes vary from 12, 13, 14, 15, 20,000 square feet. But we're seeking a minimum 12 just to be consistent with the phase one. So generally a 80 by 150 type lot.
Okay, thank you. I know a lot of the phase two has been clear cut from a long time from when phase one was done, but there is still a bit of that old growth in that southeast part of it. What is Erica, the tree ordinance for replacement and conservation of trees on this residential zoning?
Sure, we have a couple of things. We have, let's talk about conservation first. If something is identified as a specimen tree and it's based on, we have different widths, tree trunk widths, kind of in layman's terms, for say hardwoods, softwoods, pines, that sort of thing. If it's identified as a specimen tree, first off they've got to identify it on the front end. Before they come through. And then when they come through and they identify it, they either have to, if they're going to take it down, they've got to replace it with two of the same species at least a 4-inch caliper size. Now we'll go back to the tree canopy requirement. The tree canopy requirement for R10, make sure I'm telling you right, is 45%. Now that's a combination of planted and conserved. Keep in mind they'll also have to put in street trees every 30 feet along the right-of-way. We do have a tree species list that basically gives them some guidance as to what's an appropriate street tree and what's not an appropriate street tree, what's a good landscaping tree, what's a good buffer tree, those types of things. So we did give probably more information than they ever would need on the trees, but we wanted to assist developers in getting the appropriate trees for the appropriate location.
So Rory, if I may, to the developer, are you doing anything to go out and beyond or to exceed? Are you meeting or are you exceeding those ramifications and stipulations that Rory just spoke of in the way of ecology without trying to micromanage?
We haven't gone that far with the engineering studies. There's a lot of studying to do for the property, and it just doesn't make sense economically to spend the money if you don't get the zoning. So once zoning is in hand, that would be studied.
And the land was previously disturbed. So, Erica, how much of the previous disturbance will count toward the new disturbance?
Basically, the southern border I think it's the southwest. There's some old growth trees as well. That's really where the concentration is. If you look on an existing aerial photograph, like say from Google Earth, you can actually see the line where it was clear cut. The rest of the site is saplings. It's basically where they came through and just scraped it, and now you've got small sapling trees,
Volunteering,
right? That are just kind of coming up on their own. And was that about 15 years ago? I think it was about 15 years ago that they scraped it. The 45%, like I said, they can get that with planted tree canopy. So even if if it were a bald piece of land, so there were no trees out there, they would still have to provide that 45%. And it's based off of mature tree canopy, which is canopy once the tree is, a grown tree, a full tree.
That's really on us just to make sure we're enforcing those things at that point.
Absolutely. All of these things would be addressed on the front end in plans review. And then once they go through and they seek their permit and inspections and that sort of thing. Okay. So typically the landscaping goes in last, lot by lot, but some of the roadway work and that sort of stuff I think might be done when they come through and develop those first few lots.
Can the lady from the POA, I'm sorry, you got to wait for I got a chance to ask you. Are you the president of the POA?
No, I'm not. My name is Jessica Reynolds. I worked for the city at one time, so I kind of inserted myself into this.
Do you know what the covenants and restrictions are on
regards to?
Size, square footage, heated space?
TJ is the POA president.
Yes, sir. I mean, I would think that y'all would have a covenants and restriction from phase one that will carry over to phase two if I'm going to merge the POAs together. Is that right? Do you have a percent masonry across the front, or can it be just all vinyl or hardy board, or?
It's not vinyl siding.
So you don't know if we got a third half masonry front or anything like that? Maybe the developer? Do you? I'm sorry,
It's okay. We're tag teaming it.
The houses that were in there built before were vinyl siding with brick. We're doing hardy with stone, which is kind of what's in style now, what people kind of want to buy. Not saying that we won't do some brick as we kind of get in the mix things up or whatever, but just stone, that kind of look is what sells now. So that's kind of what we
I was just trying to find out what percentage y'all were running across the fronts, or.
I don't think in the covenants it's wrote anywhere. It's kind of the covenants are open ended.
But in keeping with that look, it'll pretty much reflect what's there in terms of the amount of masonry versus hardy plank, right?
Correct.
The idea was that what is being built in phase 2 would be consistent with what's already existing in phase 1 as far as style, design, materials, price point, that sort of stuff.
I hope
there would be some continuity across.
Okay, and I hope y'all understand why we're being such sticklers up here, because we don't want to repeat what has been done in the past. And again, it was no one's fault that the economy crashed. Well, it was, but it's not our fault. But we just don't want that to happen again.
We have a vested interest, too, to see the development be successful.
I understand that. Thank you very much. I'm just trying to get an idea of what.
No, I mean,
I rode through. It looks, so it looks fine to me. So.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, too. Okay, so the current, you're asking that the lot sizes be 12,000 square feet, but the ones at North Point Grand are 10,000 square feet, right? Oh, okay.
When it was originally approved in 2001, that was actually a condition of zoning in 2001. So what they're just trying to do is be consistent with what was originally approved.
Okay, but by going up 12,
Correct, even though it was
12,000
R10.
was, but the developer or the builder went out and made it 10,000.
No, they asked for, I think it was an R10 PUD when they came through back in '01, but then they put that limitation in as a condition of zoning when it was approved. And so they're basically saying we want to, stick and basically be consistent with the condition that was approved in '01.
Okay.
Another question: design standards in the UDO. It says 30%.
30%.
Yeah. And then the rest can be vinyl siding. I think in our last rezoning, I was pushing hard on zero vinyl, and I know that a lot of all your new places in the phase 1 are all hardy plank and stack brick or stack rock and things like that. I'd like, because that is what the look is that you're going with, I'd like to go ahead and put that in as part of the
Conditions.
Yeah, as hardy plank and above for that.
So the current houses are hardy plank? I thought they were vinyl on the back. They're hardy plank. What are they on the back side of the houses?
This was basically kind of done in 2 phases. I'll let him answer, but there was a round of houses that came in when the neighborhood was when it originally developed.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that have the vinyl.
Vinyl, yeah.
All of his have the hardy plank and the stacked stone. Did I answer that correctly?
Yeah.
I remember looking to buy one, and it was vinyl at that time.
Yeah. There are some vinyl houses in the neighborhood, but the newer things, the second generation of homes, are all hardy plank with stacked stone.
And these will be thanks to Rory.
Yeah, Gerald, I think this originally opened up in 2000. This subdivision did. So
2001
It was zoned in 2001.
I was here. Yeah.
Is there anybody like to speak against this? Please come up and state your name. And
Thank you. I'm Alan Moat. I live on Moat Road, and I guess most of my worries are personal, but I would like to express them if that'd be all right. I knew the original developer quite well. He's passed away now, and it was Sammy Harrell. And one point we're leaving out is over here across the street from Moat Road was the original. This was to be 3 phases. So there's a North Point subdivision on the other side of Moat Road there. That's
Which
where
is
I live.
county, that's not city.
Yeah, it's county. That's
Yep.
So he had, you're exactly right.
Yep.
And then they annexed this out to be city property. But the one thing that you said you rode through North Point recently, if you'll notice, Sammy spent a lot of money putting in berms and evergreens, so that you don't have the situation where everybody's looking in everybody's windows, from every angle. The other entrance of the subdivision is somewhat that way, the main road there. But at the last meeting we were at, it was discussed that we wouldn't plant any trees, because if we plant trees and we're not there to water them and they die, then the homeowner expects me to come back and do something about it. Well, we're going to clear cut this place, stack in a bunch of little houses, and then there's no intentions of putting a buffer between Moat Road, which walk out on my front porch, and the first houses that we're discussing building here is going to give me a nice view of about 5 or 6 back decks. So they said, well, we'll leave a buffer of 30 or 40 feet. Well, that's a power line. You can't plant anything on a power line. So that's exactly the way it's going to be, with no buffer. And so over on the side of the road that I'm on, we're on 1 acre lots. And I know that Sammy had intentions of trying to make all this work out together. But what it's starting to look like now is that we're trying to put all the housing needs of the city of Carrollton in one little spot here. And so that's what concerns me. And then what are we going to do with all the traffic that comes out on Moat Road? Moat Road's not made for that kind of traffic. And then you get up to Highway 27. I will not allow my family to make a left-hand turn. We make a right, we go down, turn around, and go back the other way. But we're just not ready. The Moat Road specifically is not ready to start accommodating another 128 homes full of cars. And so that's, again, I'm probably speaking about personal situation, but, I've overinvested, I realize that, but I've got about $450,000 in my home, and I'm dead in the backyard of these houses if they go up there, and I'm going to lose a ton of money. And so I thank you for your consideration.
Maybe Tommy, can you answer this? There was on Moat Road and 27. There was an accident there, I believe, last year. Is that correct? Does anybody know about that? I believe it was a death in an auto accident. Come on.
Sonny Addison was one of them. Mr. Sonny Addison.
Okay.
What year was that?
Do you know of any plans from GDOT to upgrade that intersection or do any changes?
Not this time, but I did contact them, and they're in the process studying that intersection to see if it would warrant a traffic signal. They usually look at the warrants, they'll look at the accident reports for the area, and if someone did, I wasn't aware of that, but if someone got killed there, that'll increase the chances of possibly getting a signal at that location. They'll look at the volume of traffic and accidents. Those are the two main factors.
I don't see an influx in traffic right away as soon as this starts getting, especially with 20 houses at a time. But I definitely hear the concerns for traffic on that road, especially turning left. I go down there a lot, and I do the exact same thing. I take a right on 27 and do the loop around because you can't see, and they pop over pretty quick down there. And so it's important to make sure that we could get another discussion or another communication with GDOT about that intersection, just to ensure that those concerns are being heard, because it's extremely important for sure.
And Moat Road itself is quite narrow and treacherous and dark at nighttime. I ride around different wards, and that's one that I go to, and it's really, really narrow. And I have friends who live at North Point Grand as well. So it is narrow and quite treacherous at nighttime, and that's a county road too, so I don't know what our...
Check to see what kind of improvements there.
Yeah.
They may have be on their paving list.
It's low shoulder, it's like 2 lanes, it's a scary road.
But it sounds like I'll recheck also and keep up with the DOT, because it sounds like whether this goes in or not, it sounds like Moat Road's a bad intersection and needs to needs attention anyway.
It sounds like it's right there.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Judy Duncan, and I live right there to the south, directly south of the, can I take this over there some point?
Yes, ma'am.
This right here, from here to here, is my property. We have 43 acres right here. We're in the county. I have a grass-fed beef operation, calf-cow operation down here. This is our north pasture, so we right at it. We bought the property in '03, and they were doing phase one then. And at that time, the people that owned it, the owner was elderly, so they didn't do anything to oversee it. They lived down here in this house. Well, basically, when they came in and did the first one, there's two creeks that come off of this property onto mine. One's over here and one's here. Well, about right here. They built the engineering, and the city engineer, current city engineer, told us the retention pond that was put in right here was put in improperly. It was put right on the creek. It dumps right under our literally fence line. It's too small for the area that's there now. I mean, with all these trees there now. Either one, we don't have any flow in the creek that's been there for 75 years. There's a lake down here that a lot of older people come to my land and they see that lake. It's like, oh, they came there as kids and fished. So either we get no flow, or if we get an inch or two, it adds a foot to my lake. Okay? So basically, we're acting as a retention pond down here. We were assured that before they did any more developing, including this strip here, that this would be addressed. They came in and cleared this. This has not been addressed. So one, my main concerns are, I know there was going to be a subdivision when I bought the property. Okay? I did not expect this volume of houses. My main concern is our water retention. I mean, our water flow. Our water comes off this property. If we go in and put all concrete and pavement and house roofs, where's my water going? Where's my two creeks going?
Do you guys have plans for a new retention pond? And I'm glad you brought that up, because I remember back in like 2004 or sometime in there getting complaints from the people at Yellowstone about runoff from
we have problems with
North
them too.
Point Grand.
We have both
This
of them.
whole house was flooded back then.
Yeah.
One that sits alone by itself.
We had problems with both of them. We dealt with both of them at the time, you know. And the other thing that you'll find, you know, this is a hill. This all slopes down to Linda Lane. So when all this water comes down, we had to go in and rebuild the dam and everything. But when we get, and it goes out our emergency spillway, or even if we get, you know, going out our regular spillway, and there's a heavy rain that's coming from here, there's other over here, Linda Lane intersection floods. Well, it's coming all from up here, and we're fixing to take out a big section that's not going to be absorbed.
Do you mind if you let them answer that question about the retention pond?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can I bring up a couple more questions?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry.
The other thing too is the sewage here. They got two sewage things here. This first one here is overflowed twice. We've caught it both times. The first time came into my lake. The city had to test my lake for a week, 6 months before it finally cleared. It overflowed again this last August. Luckily, it was during the drought. So we called it, we smell it. We called it before it got into the lake. But, you know, we already having problems with sewage here, and you fix to put more houses there. So, you know, we just got major concern of being able to protect our interests. We're in the county, so I feel like I'm in a no man's land that I don't have representation. So I guess the main thing I'm asking is, in the stipulations, I know they're going to do all the engineering studies and everything, but you got to have trees and grass and all that to have water for creeks and to absorb water so you don't have major runoff. It's more than just a small retention pond.
So you're saying in the stipulations do what?
Of just making sure that we're protecting the water flow, the water that's coming off of that.
I'd like to ask city staff, I mean, this could be a rhetorical question, I don't know, but do we have the infrastructure there in place now to support this large number of houses? And are there additional retention ponds there to address some of the runoff, or all of the runoff, from that number of houses and that many streets and curb and gutter being put in? Oh, there's Tommy. Thank you, Tommy.
I'm not sure. As far as the retention, I'm not familiar with the pond. I did look at the plans briefly.
It's all grown over,
Actually,
so it doesn't hold anything. You know, the dam of the retention pond overflows all the time.
right, I actually spoke with John that we both talked about the existing pond. Today's standard wouldn't be able to build it where you could, but if they decide to do improvements or anything on the existing pond, it's probably going to take Army Corps engineer to permit and EPD, because they actually built the pond across the stream, where typically now it's built outside the stream to catch it beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I know they'll have to look at the engineer and the cost that'll be involved in obtaining those permits to do that, or else move their detention outside of that. So the structure's not there, evidently. I'm not aware of what's in place, but it may not be adequate, even if it was in place. But that's something that they'll look at and address, and will require them to show that information before approving.
Okay.
How long do the engineering studies take? That's just a general question.
I couldn't hear your
Because I know
question.
they're going to do the studies, the engineering, water engineering, all that studies. How long do those take once y'all initiate?
Gerald, I just want to say, and again, I'm not trying to talk you into this or against it. I just want you to understand how we do business going forward. There's a whole different set of environmental requirements now than there was 15 years ago, and you know, the stormwater will. The way this process works is they don't want to spend the money for the stormwater study till they get their zoning. So that's what they're doing tonight, is asking for zoning. If they get their zoning, then they'll go forward. Now, it's possible John could do a stormwater study and realize that he couldn't build all these lots because he's going to have to build more detention pond. And that be the case, even though you zoned for X number of lots, at a staff level, we would not let them build all that because they've got to mitigate the stormwater. Similarly for the sanitary sewer, for the water and all that, that comes at a design point. So we just, again, I'm not trying to talk you into this, not talking for it or against it. I don't have a dog in the fight, but just understand we police this much more stringently than this was done in the early 2000s.
And you're saying too that the EPD may come out and look at the land and determine, hey, wait a minute, this is too many. You have to cut this in half, or
Well,
whatever.
and what they'll do is John will design the stormwater system based on the amount of runoff that there would be. But as Tommy described, this thing evidently, and I've not walked it, but evidently it's got a storm retention pond in a stream. They don't allow that anymore. So if they were to modify that pond, that's going to take some fairly arduous permitting. So I don't know what John's stormwater design will look like when this is over, but it will have to mitigate the stormwater. We don't allow people to do the things that were done again in the late 90s and the early 2000s.
Will we be able to tie into the existing one that does go to that detention pond, or no? Will this new development be allowed to tie into that detention pond?
We don't know.
Okay.
If it's,
Depends
if
on how
it's built in a stream, Tim said it, a whole different level of environmental permitting involved, may not even be feasible. So there's that cat in there, and if not, you know, we'll be taking up some lots to accommodate stormwater outside of the stream buffer.
What about a sewer capacity study? Has there been a sewer capacity study at all done on this property? Will there be? Can our
We've
sewer
not done
system?
one yet, but I would argue that there's sufficient capacity because we're up on the upper end of it, and there's no lots in Phase 2 draining into that section of sewer that she was talking about. My suspicion is we got a maintenance issue in it. We would work with city, you know, Tommy, the city engineer, and Public Works as far as looking into what may be causing that problem with the backup.
Just so I'll understand, so there are sanitary lines on this property already?
Yeah, they've built the sewer in anticipation of Phase 2. They built it from here up across the road to here.
Yeah, probably what happened is it's plugged or never tied in, and it's rainwater going in and overflowing would be my guess. But again, this is the first I've heard of it.
Yes, yeah, I don't think it's ever been accepted by the city, so there could be several issues with that sewer that's got to get brought up to stuff. And I want to add while I'm up here, that layout you see is exactly what Mr. Sammy Harrell got approved in '01. Nothing has changed other than we cut out 26 acres that this guy's not buying. The lot density didn't get any more dense. It's the exact same thing. He came up here in '01 and got approved.
What is there more property to the west of where the?
It's to the north. There's 26 acres to the north that the property owner today is going to retain for himself. So we're zoning 74 out of the 96 that got initially.
Is there anything we can do about some buffer on Moat Road, or is that?
Yeah, we're showing a buffer, and that's what our intent would be, is to have some buffering along the road there.
You know what buffer that is? 'Cause with the concern of that power line, I'd just like to know how much that is.
Well, like I say, we've not gone to that level of detail with the engineering stuff yet, but we looked at, I think we were talking about 30 or 40 feet initially on that. But if we got the power line set back into the property, I don't know if that's the case or if it's right on the edge of the right-of-way. But, you know, obviously we're not going to buffer inside the road right-of-way. We'll be buffering on our property.
Is that a power line running east-west at the very top of that point? Is that what that mark is through there, where the white block
I think it's
is?
running just along Boat Road. Which, are you talking about?
Can you point to where the power line right-of-way is that this gentleman's referring to? Oh, okay, all right.
So my guess is that power line is right there at the edge of the road. Right.
So is there enough room in the green space to plant a buffer without getting on the homeowner's lot?
Yes.
Okay, well that could mitigate some of his concern then.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak for or against this development? Hearing none, we'll close. Let's say I've got another question for somebody else on city staff.
So there's no one here to speak in favor of it?
Well, the developer's here.
Oh, you're okay.
Hearing none, we'll close comments. So anybody want to make?
Where do you have that piece of paper? I move to approve the rezoning request by Trademark Quality Homes for Northport Grand Phase 2 with the conditions as set forth on page 4 of the rezoning request, those being conditions 1, 2, and 3, and the conditions and stipulations set forth on a letter dated March 6, 2017, addressed to Erica Studdard, City of Carrollton, from David Chapman, and no vinyl siding will be permitted in Phase 2.
I'd like to amend that motion to add a 45-foot buffer along the road, planted buffer. Would that be?
Well, it would require a motion to amend the motion, but Met could withdraw the motion if
Nobody seconded my motion, Rory.
it's not been seconded.
So I will withdraw my motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the zoning with staff recommendations set forth on page 4, in addition to the recommendations in this letter. Also, Matt, can I see that piece of paper again, please? adding in no vinyl siding on line item 2. Also, requiring a buffer on Moat Road of 45 feet, a planted buffer.
I'm going to second that, but if I could just, is that to the developer, is that acceptable or doable?
The 45-foot buffer, is that what you're referring to? Them?
It's a great
the
question.
people on the
well,
front.
it was mentioned that 30 feet was about how far those power lines are. What is the requirement for trees close to a power line? Like, or the distance from that? Do you guys know? Chuck, I've got a question. If we do a buffer from the area, from that 10-foot area further into the property, would that be a way to describe what I'm looking for here?
All right. Well, as it stands right now, we have a motion and a second. So let me, but in terms, I thought Matt seconded the motion. Did I, with the question to developer?
I did.
But I think what you're describing is a 45-foot planted buffer, presumably from the right-of-way of Moat Road into the property. Is that right? I don't know how to describe it in relation to the power line because I've never seen the power line. But I think what you're describing is a 45-foot planted buffer between the road right-of-way and inside to the property. The problem with that I see with that, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's going to necessarily include the power line area itself, so that can't be planted. Again, it's hard to visualize without actually having been out there
Sure.
and know what's on the ground.
I don't know that there's an actual easement beyond the right-of-way for this power line. I think like what we're saying is this a standard pole that's going alongside the road within the road right-of-way. So I don't think we have an easement inside the property that we have to stay out of for power line maintenance. I think from the road right-of-way in, we're able to provide the buffering on our property and stay out of the power line. Planting. Yep. Meeting as part of meeting the city's tree ordinance requirements, that would be an opportunity there for planting trees.
And in our jargon, does buffer always mean planted buffers and green space, Erica? In our city jargon.
Or natural buffers.
Natural buffer means planted.
It can be a variety.
Or natural undisturbed.
It can be a variety of planted or land or existing.
Okay.
Let me interject.
Just one other thing, though. If you plant near that power line, whether it's platted right away or not, they're going to mow it down. So everybody needs to understand that.
We don't want to be within 10.
They're going to mow 15 feet off that line, and if it's not a platted easement, it's in the service agreement to get power with them and all that. So they're going to mow that. We just need to be real clear. They're going to mow that, and so that if that power line's on the backside of the right of way, they're going to come 15 feet into the property and mow. So everybody needs to understand that when we talk about that.
Rory, I think that the motion you just made and that I seconded inadvertently might be too ambiguous. I would respectfully request that you join with me because we got to vote on this motion. Either we amend it. Okay.
And keep in mind, these lots are about 150
All right,
feet.
if we're going to do it by the book, we need a motion to amend the motion.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
But
Well,
I want to defer to you, Chuck. I mean, y'all, this is Bismarck, the great chancellor of Germany, the unified Germany. He always said that when you watch legislation being made, it's what's the saying? It's like watching sausage or something. So usually Chuck draws up our resolutions, so we don't have this problem, but we're having this right now, so we want to do it correctly to get out of here. So Chuck, well, how do you suggest we do the language?
I think if we want to change the buffer or clarify the buffer from 45 feet, then we need a motion to amend the motion to do, and I don't know what it is you have in mind, but the motion to amend the motion to eliminate the buffer requirement, to clarify the buffer requirement. Okay. And in what respect?
What I'm looking for is a space between that mow line and the back of those people's yards where the furthest back that fence could go. I want to see a certain amount of feet that is planted. You guys are the developers, and you've seen how many feet is required to actually create a planting that isn't, you're not just seeing the backs of people's yards. What would be a recommendation?
That depends on how dense it is. You could have a 50-foot wide buffer and plant it spaced out and you still see through it. Or you could have a 20-foot stacked tight in and you don't see. So
you said you wanted it planted, right? Like with some Leland cypress. They're like every other and then staggered so you can't see through them no matter what.
I'm not going to require the exact planting, but I'm just wondering what sort of thing would be what you're talking about, though, Gerald. Yeah.
Phase 1 was Leland cypress and Magnolia grandiflora, right? Or whatever those smaller magnolias are. I remember that.
Down along the roadway.
Yeah.
There are some better, more drought-resistant varieties than Leland cypress that
They
look
get
like,
ugly after a while, leggy and all that.
They tend to break.
Yeah.
Lose limbs.
Yep.
But you could say, I mean, you could base it off of our tree species list. We have trees that are.
Yeah, I like that, Rory.
Buffers, and that's actually a list that's a kind of part of our policy.
Mm-hmm. Something that's quite dense in its growth, firs or whatever's on that list.
You want a buffer of at least a certain number of feet. I think what I hear Councilman Wojcik saying is he would like to make a motion to amend the motion that's before the mayor and council so that instead of a 45-foot planted buffer, it will be a planted buffer of at least 10 feet along Moat Road.
Outside of the power line and utility easement?
Outside of the power line easement. Can you work with that, John?
So that's a total of how many feet?
It would depend where the easement runs. It probably will vary from the road in places, is my guess. But again, I've not been out there.
David, can you work with that? Okay.
And will that keep these folks from looking on somebody's deck, as they said earlier? Is that a no from the?
If you look at this right here, you got two lots coming here, and then everything else gets into more of a buffer. So you really only got two right here, and then you got this space here, which the gentleman was talking about up here. You really only got right here, and then it kind of gets over into the land. Still can't hear me, can you?
Look, I want there to be pointers at the next meeting, possibly one for us and one for the petitioners or anyone else who stands. I think that would be a smart thing.
But as you see, I'm gonna point this at it. So
I know what you mean.
Once we get right here, we're about a mark away from seeing anything. We do got some opportunity right here to put a buffer. That's kind of the way I see it.
Just eliminate those, eliminate the houses from that area. Would that make them happy? Get rid of them. Go back, redraw it. Let's table this till next time. I move we table this until next time.
We already have a motion.
Yeah, there's a motion and a second.
Well, I'm going to vote against it.
All right, well, hold on.
Can
Are we calling for a vote, or is there a motion to amend the motion that's on the table?
If that motion includes deleting all the roadside lots to make those neighbors happy, I say let's go for it.
I'm going to say one thing. I completely hear what you guys are saying, and I want to make sure that there is some sort of buffer there. I don't want to. He's got to develop that land, and there's got to be some sort of balance between the two. I'd like to make a motion to amend the motion to include a planted buffer of at least 10 feet outside the power line easement along Moat Road.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second.
And the motion that's before the body is now a motion to amend the original motion. That's what you're voting on, whether to amend the original motion, not necessarily to approve the project, but just to amend the motion.
Okay, we have a motion in front of the body to amend the motion from the original motion. And a second.
And then my motion has failed. It's dead, right? To table it.
Die from lack of a second. We already had a motion on the floor. We couldn't do anything about it.
Well,
we had to vote on this one first. All in favor of the amended motion and not necessarily the rezoning, please raise your hand.
All right, now.
All opposed? Have one opposed.
So the motion that is now before the body is a motion to approve the rezoning with the staff recommendation and also with the added conditions set forth in the March 6, 2017 letter to Erica Stutter from David Chapman, with the added condition that there be no vinyl siding in Phase 2 and the added condition that there will be a planted buffer of at least 10 feet outside of the power line easement along Moat Road. That's the motion that you're now voting on. Well, it's Rory's original motion as seconded by Met, but as amended by the body. So it's the original motion just as amended.
Okay, we have a motion on the table and a second. Anybody else want to debate this? Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All in favor is approved by the... All in favor, please raise your right hand. Got 4. Any opposed? One opposed. Motion carries. Mr. Grizzard, number 3, water filter plant concrete coating.
Mayor, as you know, back in the fall of last year, you gentlemen approved the purchase and installation of concrete coatings on one of the 4 water settlement basins at the water treatment plant. We got such a good price out of the contractor, and the work turned out to be, we're so happy with the work. We would like to continue with that contractor and do a second basin. And so that contractor is GRC Stonewater, and the price is $153,000. You'll notice in your package that the next lowest bid when we took those prices was nearly $100,000 more than that. So we ask that you approve this purchase.
It's a contract, right? Not a purchase.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's an installation contract.
and Tim, I might have been in a haze just now, but the purpose of this, if you don't mind, once more, please.
Oh, those basins were built, some of them back in the 1950s, and they're concrete, and it's just part of the water treatment process where we settle out the impurities before it becomes, once one of the steps along the way before it becomes drinking water. And some of those basins have gotten old and deteriorated, and they've started to leak. And there's a coating that's applied inside, and it prevents that leakage. And again, there are 4 total. We want to do 2 this fiscal year and 2 next fiscal year. This would be the second this fiscal year.
And we looked at those this past weekend, right?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is there any discussion? I'd like to make a motion we accept. Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 4, board appointments. Carroll County Health Board.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's a memo in your package asking you to reappoint Mr. Lloyd Howard as the city's appointee for the Carroll County Health Board, and he's willing to serve again. We recommend that you reappoint Mr. Howard.
Here again, I would like to make a motion we accept. I've served Mr. Howard. He does a great job representing the board in Carroll County Health, and just like to make the motion we accept. I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed? Gerald, was that?
I raised my left hand, but I am in favor. I'm sorry. I concur with everything you said about Mr. Howard.
Item number 5, board appointments, Park and Rec. Mr. Grizzard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are two current Parks and Rec commissioners that are up for reappointment. They would both like to be reappointed and serve again. That's Mrs. Lori Blackman and Mr. Barry Glenn. And our rec department director recommends that these people be reappointed.
Any discussion?
I would like to say both members have done a fantastic job, and Barry has worked closely with me out in the community, and he's a person who I can call on anytime, as with Peter, and we often text about certain issues, and he'll call and sort of weigh issues with me, and I totally back them both and endorse this candidacy at this time.
You want to make that as a...
And I do move that both their terms be renewed and they stay with us, if I worded that correctly.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please raise your right hand or left hand. Oh. Item number 6, approval of slate of nominations, Main Street Board. Tim? No, Ms. Studdard, I'm sorry. Need some new glasses.
That's right. You'll see in your packet the memo for the Main Street Board nominations. We had Chris Duffy, who tendered his resignation in January of this year, and we are seeking to replace him. The Main Street Board membership filled in nominations, and you'll see the following people that were nominated. Mr. Chad Houck, Mr. Brad Wilkes, Mr. James Gross, and Miss Stephanie Lister. There's a brief bio in your memo if you had a chance to look at it. I'm here to answer any questions. What will happen is upon approval of these nominees, the Main Street membership will then have a vote amongst those 4.
Just real quick, so I understand this. So there's Main Street has bylaws that then they get to nominate who the Main Street Board membership to fill the vacancy. They give us these candidates.
They did. The bylaws changed. When was that, Tim?
4 years ago.
Yeah, probably about 4 years ago, and so it's a little more convoluted to do this.
Sounds like all we do is approve a slate.
You approve the
That's
nominees.
all we do.
Right.
We're just rubber stamping their slate.
You approve the nominees, and then the members vote.
Okay.
So
we can't put people, we cannot
Right,
add
that's
people
what
to these.
Currently, the way the bylaws are written, no.
Okay.
were the bylaws recently rewritten? Do you know? Has it always, when Wayne was here, they were rewritten? Is this what Wayne did before he left?
That was about 4 years ago.
Oh. Yeah, you
We
would
happen
know.
to have the state Main
Yeah.
Street director here if y'all would like to.
So previously, the way it worked, the board, they took recommendations to the board, the Main Street Board. The board would kind of narrow it down to a couple and then present those to mayor and council. Mayor and council would then approve those recommendations or nominate somebody else. I left in 2013, and I believe in 2014 it changed to make it more focused on the existing membership program. I would say the only challenge is there that not everybody is a member. So, you're asking, that only people who are members actually be representatives of the board. So I was talking to Erica. It might be something that at some point in time might want to be readdressed or looked at. I would say traditionally across the state, it usually works the way that we used to have it set up where, the board accepts nominations, they kind of narrow it down, put it before mayor and council, and then you guys have the final say as far as, who
So
gets
we're not even picking one of these. We're saying okay to all 4.
You're saying this slate looks good, and then it goes back to the membership, and then they pick from there.
What if we're saying it doesn't look good?
Yeah.
It's just a bylaw. They're like
I just think that's stupid. I really do. That's stupid.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I think,
In
I
any
think
way,
Jessica
shape, or
agrees.
Why are we even involved in this? You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's stupid.
This is something we can actually change
Oh.
change back, and we can. And it sounds like we need to do this more.
Let's change
more
that
sooner
back.
than later.
Because we're wasting. I could be at home right now stroking my dog or something like that instead of sitting here trying to.
If you're not happy with the way it's currently situated, if
That
you
didn't
table
sound
it,
right.
I can work with. If
know
you're not,
what I mean.
Gerald,
Oh.
focus. If you're not happy with the way it's currently situated, you can table it, and I can work with Erica and Scott to get it to where it makes sense for everybody. If that's something you want to do.
Whatever they want to do, but I'm just like, why are we doing
It's up
this?
to y'all.
I was just, never mind.
We literally can just
say something.
take the old bylaws and put them back in play. It'd be pretty easy.
Background checks done on all four of these people?
We
Criminal
haven't
record.
taken it to that level yet.
Okay, just curious.
And Erica, let me say for the record too, because I know the tape is rolling, and a lot of these folks are my neighbors. I like all of them, and I love their places. I eat there. I contribute to downtown every day. Some days I feel guilty about it 'cause I'm like, I shouldn't have eaten that, but it's so delicious, every single one. So I like all these people. I'm not saying I don't like them, but I'm just saying maybe we need to revisit the way we're doing business.
I absolutely could not agree more.
Yeah.
Well, you want to make a motion we
I
table
love
this?
Wayne Garner.
Gerald?
He's a good friend.
Gerald, you want to make a motion we table this and for later discussion?
How does the rest of the council feel about that first? Jim, do you not even, why are you shaking your hand? Yeah, let's go with what they recommend right now, but maybe we revisit next go round.
We'll have a draft. We'll have the draft revisions for you guys in April.
Okay, so back to the original. Have a motion we accept.
Are you making a motion, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed?
My right hand, I'm for.
I got you, Gerald. I got
Okay,
you,
good.
Gerald.
I raised my left hand by accident.
Thank you, Erica. Item number 7, approval slate of nominations, Carrollton City County Hospital Authority. Tim, you want to?
Just, this is another slate of nominations that you approve, and then the hospital authority picks its members. There are current serving members. I can read these if you want. Position 1 is Trent North. He is eligible to serve again. Position 2 is Dr. Richie Bland. He is eligible. Position 3 is Mary Covington. She is eligible. Position 4 is Tim Warren. He is eligible. Position 5 is Dr. Jeff Lindsay. He is eligible. Position 6 is Larry Boggs. He is eligible. Position 7 is Bobby McMillan. He is eligible. You can see the other nominees there. But generally what happens is the city approves the slate. The county has already approved it, and then the hospital authority will pick.
I move that.
Oh, I was about to ask more questions. When you say they are eligible for removal from the hospital authority, is that what you're saying?
No, sir,
Or for us?
for reappointment.
And we, again, and I have an ear infection. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. So we at this time need to do what? I'm sorry.
You need to approve this slate. There are other names on here I can read, like for Trent North spot, Miss Kathy Yates and Dr. Bobby Mitchell are also in there as a possible pick. Again, and I won't read them all unless you want me to. I'm not trying to hide the names. They're here publicly. I was just for the sake of time. But again, what you do, what the county's already approved this slate of nominations. The city needs to approve it, and then the hospital authority will pick from this group of people.
Oh, so do we go one by one? Like, do we
No,
say
you know, we
position
can
number
approve
one?
just the whole thing.
Just make a motion.
Okay.
to approve
Oh,
the
Gerald,
whole-
we just take the whole slate and then the hospital board picks who they want.
Okay.
Kind of like the Main Street Board.
Yeah, but that's their hospital, though. Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the slate for positions 1 through 7.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries. That gets us down to item number 7, mayor and council announcements.
Oh, Lordy. First of all, I would like to thank every member of the city staff who sat with us. I don't know how many hours we were locked away this weekend, but probably, would y'all say 30 hours, maybe, something to that effect? Maybe, I don't know. However many hours we were locked away working on the budget and upcoming projects. I would like to thank you for that. I would like to thank Tim Grizzard for making this happen. This is something that we did at the beginning of my tenure under a whole nother administration, and it was highly effective back then, and I believe it's highly effective now. I'm excited about all the upcoming projects. I'm excited about all the wonderful things that are going on in the city. But one thing that I'm not excited about that we talked about yesterday was diversity amongst the key positions here at City Hall. I sat in a room of, and I know I misquoted the number of women who were with us. I said there were two, and there was a running joke about the two women the whole time. There were really three women with us, one person of color, and the rest of the room was filled with Caucasian white males. I urge the city, I urge our new human resources director to hire people of color to add to the beautiful tapestry that we call Carrollton, and to make sure that all people of this town are very well represented up here at City Hall. That includes people with pigmented skin and women. And let me say this too. Someone on Facebook this morning said that I was trying to allude, or I was alluding that we hire unqualified people. I never said that. And we have to move away, some of us, from the notion that if a person's skin is dark or if it's pigmented, that means he or she is considered or deemed unintelligent or unqualified. I'd like to make sure that moving forward, we hire a more diverse staff here in those key positions. Also, we talked about forming a new department, and that department would be a public, and I'm sorry I can't see everybody, but that department would be a public relations department. I think the formation of a new department is a great idea, and Rory sold me on that yesterday. He had a very strong and effective argument. But I think that's a great place to start with this new diversity initiative that I think we need to adopt. Also, let me say this too. I will not be stopped. I will not stop preaching diversity at City Hall. Nothing can stop me. No amount of threats and letters sent to my home and threats texted to my phone about whatever, it will not stop me. And I would like to point out those 5 young people over there. I don't even know but one of y'all's names. They've heard about it, got wind of it. Thank y'all for being soldiers, for bringing us up to the proper century and giving Carrollton a new face and helping to fight the fight. So thank you on that. Also with rentals, we talked about, actually not rentals, let's talk about the publications coming from the city. I also pointed out to city staff that our publications that we produce here, which our public relations person will be responsible for, developing this look for us, those publications are purely white, the ones that I saw this weekend. And I made the statement that if I were a new person moving to this town, I would not want to move here being an African-American male. I would not want my family to live in a community that's dominated by one race. And it's not. We know that simply by looking around this room. But as I said to one of our council people, photographs don't lie. Those photographs are a depiction of our community and what it looks like and what it feels like to a person who's not from here, be it on the internet or just grabbing a hard copy, which so many people have to do immediately. So we need to work on that as well, making sure that those ballet programs and all those other programs are diversified. I've heard some horrible comments, and I've had some horrible, terrifying, embarrassingly horrible comments made to me about programs, such as someone who worked for the city told me, some people don't want their kids around people from the projects. Well, I'm a people from the project. That's where I came from. But my mother taught us that no one is better than anyone else, and we're all the same. That's what she taught us. So we have to find a way to infuse more African Americans, not only African Americans, but people of color, into those programs at the rec department and the art center as well. I said before that we have some legal problems that stem from the art center. And what brought us to those legal problems is racism. That was the first thing, that was the first red flag that went up. If we're not careful, we're going to find ourselves in more, well, y'all are going to find y'allselves, because I'm freeing myself of it right now, in more lawsuits that involve discriminatory practices because of the way we're presenting ourselves. And we can argue all day long that that's not how we feel, but the pictures and the brochures don't lie. So next, I also received a complaint via what is it called that's going out? I posted it today, Roy, the survey that we're asking our citizens to complete to help us brand the city and come up with, I guess, a brand process for our city. One of those surveys was that we took away outdoor basketball. And there were one of those responses was that we took away outdoor basketball. We did not take away outdoor basketball. I think there was another one on there that was highly absurd as well. And I investigated those. So maybe we need to find a better way of communicating to our citizens what we're doing and what's going on. I also hear over and over and over that we're not working hard enough and that I don't do anything. I hear that too. But again, that's my fault for not doing a more thorough job of communicating to our constituents what's going on. But there's a basketball court over on Robert Hendricks Drive that we're looking to remove some roots and resurface, possibly, Peter. We're going to look into that, right? And then also a couple other complaints were the Spray and Splash Park, which is a free water park, which is the result of my fight to get free admission for everybody to the current water park under certain governances developed by the rec department that would help us control parental control and the amount of kids there, et cetera. But in response to that, and while we bide time and try to obtain that free admission for everybody, we built a Spray and Splash Park, which is free, and it's on the site of West Carrollton Recreation Center. That Spray and Splash Park is used greatly during the summertime. And the floor there, the ground there is concrete. Peter and his staff did a great job of milling that concrete, pulling it up, and working on the infrastructure during the winter. But what I ask now is that we cover that surface with a rubber coating similar to the pay-for water park, which is located in our cemetery on Alabama Street. That way we avoid those bumps and bruises that children are enduring while they're there playing. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the gun violence and gunfire from young people over in Thomas Homes. And I just wanted the people to know that I am in constant contact with the police, and I do appreciate Tim communicating any type of gun activity that involve young people, specifically in my ward. I appreciate you doing that. And I continue to encourage young people to join the Boys and Girls Club, participate in some sort of after-school program, those of which I helped found down at Carrollton City Schools, the county schools, or whatever, or some of Peter's programs. I think we offer enough in this program. Folks are saying they want a bowling alley, but we offer enough in this program, in this community, that those children do have something to do every single day. And if you ain't got nothing else to do, walk your children down to Ronnie Tewksbury's library and help them pull a book off the shelf and explore and discover the wonderful world of books and reading. It will take you anywhere, no matter how rich or how poor you are. And that's what Mama did for us. And these are changing times. Use your tablets to look up some books if you have to. All right? And Ronnie also has all forms of media, including, I think, electronic things there as well that you can check out in the library. Also, lastly, I received a complaint today from a member of our community who is a close friend of mine. And we've known each other now for probably about 3 to 5 years, somewhere in there. I have trouble remembering how long. And he's a farmer, and he's somewhat alarmed. I hope you don't mind me pointing you out in this way. You're not the only one who's alarmed that the farmers have been denied use of the Carrollton Cultural Arts Center market space, or what do we call that little area outside? Plaza, however you want to say it. They've been denied the use of that area due to some deed restrictions or something to that effect. But I would like to offer, first of all, I would like for city staff to investigate that and delve into it a little bit deeper to see if we can help these farmers market their crops, which our citizens need. We need healthy, fresh foods like the ones that you market, the goat cheese and the healthy soaps and oatmeal and all that wonderful stuff. But I would like to offer or extend West Carrollton's Legends West to you all if this falls through. It's a beautiful piece of land with a nice covered gazebo and a beautiful kitchen bathrooms, and soon to be added in a couple of weeks, a vegetable garden, which I'm helping to personally plant and plow. That's it for me. What holiday is coming up? Happy St. Patrick's Day. We'll be back before St. Patrick's Day. Thank y'all.
Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you again to the staff, to Tommy and to Tony and Peter. Y'all did a great job this weekend. I feel like I was telling everybody, I feel like I've been living with everybody for the last 3 days. See everybody again. And Mr. Mayor, you did a great job running the meeting. And Tim, you did a great job. And Libby, thank you again. Jessica, thanks to everybody. Learned a lot, learned about your departments. Thank you for going through the budget. Thank you for listening to us and answering our questions directly, not being evasive and being straightforward with us. And thank you for Peter, thank you for the report you put out and publish. That's very informative. And I do want to commend, thank you for all your comments on diversity. And never be quiet, but Peter does a good job with diversity in his publication, and thank you for that. I would never be embarrassed to show your publications off to anybody coming to Carrollton. I think he does a great job.
And I'm sorry that I clumped you with the Art Center. The Art Center is now a separate entity. Those brochures that I spoke of were from the Carrollton Cultural Arts Center, just for the record. Thank you, man, and I'm sorry.
I'm going to echo again this weekend. Great job from all the city staff and mayor and council. It was very good communication and discussion that was had there. I do want to stress, and I'm in agreement, the importance of non-discrimination in hiring and employment in the city. I think our HR does a great job of ensuring equal pay for equal work across the board. And I want to thank and commend our city staff for doing that and encourage them to continue to do so. Ben Weber, he's lives on Cedar Street. I'm shifting gears a little bit. He's contacted me a few times about traffic calming on Cedar Street, of which we've worked with the police department and a neighborhood slow streets, but there's still concerns on Cedar Street and in other areas, and I'd just like to ask if he could give a tiny bit of time just to mention those concerns, if that pleases the council. Just a short minute. Yeah, go for it.
We'll keep it quick. It's at the end of the meeting. So I live at the intersection of Cedar Street and Stewart Street. I'm representing the neighborhood of Cedar Street. We've lived in our home for less than a year, and in the past 6 months, we've had 2 drunk drivers drive through that intersection and actually run into our neighbor's home. Prior to that, even the other house across the street, that's happened on repeated occasions. So since then, the city has responded. They've put up some big rocks to serve as an obstacle. But at the same time, there still are some issues with people speeding, people not stopping at that intersection. And it's become a point where actually the people who lived across the street from us have actually left the neighborhood because they don't feel safe. We have a lot of young families that are moving into our neighborhood. We have a little girl, and so currently a lot of the young families do not feel safe with their little kids walking up and down the sidewalks. Pedestrians don't feel safe. So would love for you guys to consider implementing some new safety measurements, especially for that intersection at Cedar and Stewart. Y'all did something similar on the square. It's been great. Flashing lights at the stop sign, maybe establishing some walkways at that intersection. And even a police presence would mean a lot. We sit on our front porch day in, day out, and we see people just cruise on through that intersection, not even paying attention. So it's become a dangerous place, and it's a very family-friendly neighborhood. We would love for y'all to consider helping us out.
I thought those rocks were to be thrown in the trash. I was trying to figure out how I can get them taken to my house, the ones that are on the side of the road. I thought the people there didn't want them anymore, and they pushed them out.
I don't know, man. I couldn't move a rock that big, so.
I was like, how could I get those rocks? They do look like they're just thrown away in the trash, like you didn't want them anymore. They don't look purposely.
Thanks for coming up, Ben. I'm going to ask you if you could stick around. Tommy Holland's here. If we could have just a quick discussion to see what sort of things we can do to help you guys out, because I know it's extremely important to make sure you guys are safe. So thank you for coming up and being engaged with us.
All right, thank you.
I'd just like to add it was a good weekend. I think a lot of us got to know each other a lot better. City staff, thank you for everything y'all did for us. Libby organized all this. It was quite a feat that she pulled off and kept her regular stuff going on at the same time. Just want to say thank you for participating and giving us a chance to get to know y'all a little bit better also. And we look forward to a prosperous year. Thank you very much.
I got one item. The wooden bridge construction starts a week from today, believe it or not.
Can I have a motion to adjourn? Have a second.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. This meeting is adjourned.